All right, so you ready for a deep dive into all things Ireland?
Always up for it.
Yeah, this Love Ireland newsletter we have here,
Mm-hmm.
it's got me feeling like a detective. They start off with this question. What village was The Quiet Man filmed in?
Oh, The Quiet Man.
Now, before you jump in and say Kong County Mayo like a total film buff,
Yeah.
let's talk about why this movie location is still like a thing after all
Yeah.
this time.
Well, you're right. It is Kong County Mayo.
Okay.
But, the newsletter really makes a point of saying how the village has become a destination.
Yeah,
Like, people go there just because of the movie.
that's so
And
good.
it's been, what, 70 years?
Yeah.
People are still going there just to
Yeah.
see the same views and, get that feeling from the film.
Yeah, like step right into the movie.
Exactly.
It's amazing how a movie can do that to a place,
It really is.
just make it iconic. Now, speaking of impactful travel experiences,
Okay.
there's this tip from a seasoned traveler named Shannon
Oh, yeah.
that I just loved, and it's so simple. Walk.
I love that. Just walk.
Just walk. What's the context there?
So she actually stumbled on this after some annoying flight delays.
Oh.
Forced her to explore Dublin on foot.
Oh.
And she ended up loving it, finding these little hidden spots,
Mm-hmm.
really getting a feel for the city.
Yeah, I love that.
Sometimes you got to ditch the itinerary,
You do. You do.
Just embrace the spontaneity of it all.
Totally. And you think about how much we miss
Yeah.
when we're just, rushing from one landmark to the next.
Right. Okay. You've convinced me.
Ah.
Walking shoes packed. Now get this. The newsletter talks about something called a hardware pub in Dingle.
A what?
A hardware pub.
Hardware pub.
They say you can literally buy a hammer and a pint in the same place.
Wow. Okay, so
Only in Ireland, right?
very Irish.
What does that even look like?
I don't know.
Is it like a Home Depot with a bar in the back?
That's a good question. I think that's part of the charm, though,
I guess so.
It kind of speaks to that Irish sense of community,
Right.
where practicality and a good time just go together.
Yeah, like you can imagine those locals
Oh, totally.
grabbing a pint after work,
Yeah.
catching up, maybe picking up some nails while they're at it.
Exactly.
Okay, this is going straight to the top of my list.
Uh,
It's like a tiny little slice of Irish culture,
yeah.
Practicality, community, and, of course, a nice pint.
Of course.
What more could you want?
It's perfect.
It really is, and it reminds us to expect the unexpected when we travel.
Absolutely.
Speaking of unexpected, the newsletter mentions that Ireland is getting ready for Stormbert.
Oh, no.
Yeah, some pretty strong winds and maybe some flooding expected.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's a good reminder to always check the weather
Oh, definitely.
and stay informed
Yes.
wherever you're traveling. Safety first.
Absolutely.
Now, aside from the storm warnings, there's some other interesting news.
Right.
There's this dating trend called pitch a friend. Pitch a friend.
Sounds interesting, right?
Yeah. What is that?
It's like matchmaking, but your friends nominate each other for dates.
Oh, okay. Well,
Sly pattern match.
your
data.
friend sets you up.
Exactly. It's kind of cool to see how things are changing.
Yeah.
Even in a place with so much tradition like Ireland.
Hmm.
It's like a sneak peek into everyday life there,
Right.
beyond just the touristy stuff.
Exactly. And that's what's so fun about travel.
Yes.
It's not just the landmarks. It's about getting a real feel for the place and its people.
Okay, so we've talked about ditching the itinerary, walking tours, hardware pubs.
Don't forget Stormbert.
Oh, right, Stormbird. But seriously, we've barely scratched the surface
No, we haven't.
of this Love Ireland newsletter.
There's so much more.
So much more. Ready to keep digging?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Let's go.
It's really amazing how much this newsletter packs in, It's like a snapshot of Irish life right now. You've got that timeless appeal of The Quiet Man, and then you have Pitch a Friend,
Just
and
don't forget Stormbird.
right, and Stormbert, a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything.
Speaking of those tourist highlights, though, the newsletter mentions some experiences likely to sell out in 2024.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
That's a good point. With travel bouncing back, people got to book in advance.
It's true.
Yeah.
Even Shannon, our walking tour queen, would probably agree that sometimes you got to plan ahead.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You got to find that balance,
Okay.
between going with the flow and making sure you don't miss those big things you want to do.
Exactly. Okay, let's switch gears for a sec.
Yeah.
That leave only footprints message they highlighted from social media really stuck with me.
Me too. It's so important. It's easy to forget, when
Yeah.
you're excited about traveling, but it's more than just picking up your trash.
Right.
It's about respecting the environment, the local cultures supporting sustainability.
Totally.
Mm.
It makes you think about how you can travel in Ireland responsibly, like maybe staying at locally owned places instead of big chains,
For sure.
or like eating at restaurants that use local ingredients,
Yeah.
making choices that actually help the community.
And it doesn't have to be a huge change, you know?
Right.
Little things like a reusable water bottle,
Oh, yeah,
skipping single-use plastics, it all adds up.
it does. Okay, time for something I love. Food.
Haha, always.
That recipe for Chris's dream cake from the Irish Baker Abroad.
I know, I saw that.
Oh, it looks so good.
It does.
It makes me think, when we imagine a place, we often think about landmarks and scenery,
Mm-hmm.
but food is a huge part of the experience.
It is such a good way to connect with the culture.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not just the taste.
Right.
It's the smells, the colors, the whole atmosphere.
Everything, yeah. And it creates these memories, you know?
It does. Okay, I'm suddenly craving some Irish soda bread.
Oh, yeah.
And speaking of sensory experiences, we can't forget music.
Of course not.
The newsletter talks about the power of Irish music.
Mm-hmm.
And it's true. Music is like the soul of a place.
I agree. It really transports you.
It does the melodies, the rhythms, the stories, and the songs.
And it's no surprise those traditional Irish music sessions are so popular.
They are. It's like you're hearing the heart of Ireland,
Ah.
And it's not just traditional music either. They mentioned how contemporary Irish musicians are mixing old and new sounds,
Oh, cool.
creating something totally unique.
It just shows you culture is always evolving, you know?
Mhm.
That's what makes exploring a place like Ireland so exciting.
Yes. So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive,
Okay.
what's standing out to you the most? What's got you curious from this newsletter?
You know what really gets me is that travel isn't about checking things off a list.
Yeah.
It's about really experiencing a place with all your senses,
Mm-hmm.
being open to whatever happens.
Right.
It could be a random walking tour, a chat with a local in a hardware pub, or even just enjoying a slice of Chris's dream cake.
Those are the moments you remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's those little things that make a place come alive.
I love that.
Hmm.
It's not about the what, but the how,
Right.
And this newsletter gave us so many different hows,
Mm-hmm.
like Shannon's walking tours and, those quirky places like that hardware pub.
It all goes back to that question about the quiet man in the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Kong isn't just a place where they filmed a movie.
Mm-hmm.
It shows you how a story can make a place special
Yeah.
and draw people in years later.
It really does. Like the movie became part of Tong,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's part of the experience for visitors, too.
Right.
And it's just like in the movie,
Yeah. Yeah.
where all those unexpected connections happened
Right.
and those heartwarming moments.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we should look for in our own travels.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That feeling of discovery, those real connections with people and places, that's the magic of travel.
It really is. So before we wrap up our Irish adventure, let's go back to that question from the newsletter that got everyone talking.
Okay.
What's your favorite Maureen O'Hara film?
Good question.
Head over to our social media,
Yes.
share your pic, and tag us so we can see it.
Definitely do that.
And as you're thinking about your next trip,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's Ireland or somewhere else,
Yeah.
remember that leave only footprints message.
Oh, that's so important.
How can you be a responsible traveler?
Hmm.
How can you make a positive impact on the places you visit?
That's a question we should all be asking.
That's a good point. So much to think about
I know.
and so many amazing places to explore. Until our next deep dive.
Okay.
Happy travels, everyone.
Happy travel.